Phase Hero episode number 78 starts right now. We're in that super fantastic bridge, seeing if we could put together some sort of fantastic week for next week. Welcome to the show, BD here, joined today by Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
We got Aaron Perrine.
What's going on, everybody?
We got Jamie Jurek.
Good morning.
Good morning. If I sound a little wonky, it's because I'm coming to you live from my MacBook Pro microphone. I don't have my Yeti microphone. I thought we were going to do this tonight. I'm in New York City for The Naked Gun, which I'll talk about later on. I saw the movie last night. I'm doing something with Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, and Paul Walter Hauser this afternoon, so stay tuned for that. But it got pushed back in the day, so my flight got pushed back. I didn't know this was happening until Monday night, so it's all kind of coming together. But we were not missing the show, and thank God all four of us just were kind of able to hop on when we can hop on, and we were able to go to our regular showtime today. Today's show, we got DC news. We got to talk about Superman's box office, Supergirl, Lanterns, a lot of stuff there. The fallout of Superman. We'll see if there's anything left to talk about. The MCU, Fantastic Four updates. They're saying a lot. They're saying people are out of the movie. They're saying storylines are in the movie. Are they saying too much? Let's talk about that. And then we're going to talk about The Naked Gun. Jamie saw I Know What You Did last summer and has a bit of maybe a hot take based on some numbers you're seeing out there. The Odyssey. Well, the reason we're talking about the Odyssey today is like unlike anything I've heard in a long time. And then we're going to wrap up the show. If you just saw Jamie's reaction, I think you're going to see an even stronger version of it when we get to the Emmy nominations portion of the show and some lack thereof Emmy nominations, I think. But how are we feeling? We ready to go? Should we just jump in?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Also, by the way, if you're at San Diego Comic-Con Friday night, Circle 6, I have a wrestling match, and I'm just going to say it here. It's about to get announced. It was supposed to be announced yesterday. My tag team partner is Danhausen, and if you know wrestling, you know Danhausen. I know to Jenna and Jamie, they're like, who the hell is this guy? Everybody is very excited about that. Everybody in the wrestling community will be very excited about that, I hope. When I say everybody's excited about that, I mean me. But Wicked West tickets are on sale now, Friday night. Hope you'll come out. And also, the three of you are on a panel. Can we plug that really quickly?
Absolutely. We are on a panel with the Mary Sue. I'm pulling up the official name of it right now. It is Female Superheroes and Their Importance in Media, and it'll be on Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in room 26AB. So you get to see the three of us, the fantastic three of four, on a panel with some great people and friend of the show, Rachel Leishman. It should be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Also, I'll let them announce which, but I do want to say, for the first time in my almost 11 years in working in media, I am finally hosting a panel at San Diego Comic-Con. This has been, I just found out late yesterday, and I am very, very excited about it. And so I'll let them announce it how they want to announce it. I don't want to jeopardize it. But yes, I'm finally hosting a panel. It'll be on Friday in Ballroom 20. Keith, thank you so much for the $1.99. WBD, W Aaron, W Jenna, W Jamie, W Chat. That's the energy we need. Keith won a Daily Planet. I just hopped on a live stream on Monday, had some friends pop in, and I owe him a Daily Planet. I got to get it shipped out. But W Keith, everybody, thank you so much for the $1.99, my friend. All right, Superman's box office. Let's get to the DC news. $125 million domestic opening weekend, $220 million total on the opening weekend. It is the third largest opening weekend box office of 2025 so far. The streets are saying it's a success, unless you live in some scary streets where you want to bash this movie. That's the sort of left turn I don't want to make in a big city, because I don't want to see those people anywhere, let alone in an alleyway. But Superman had a very successful weekend. $12.9 million added on Monday, and then $17 million added on Tuesday. These are domestic numbers. It's the best non-holiday Monday performance of the year, best Tuesday of the year as well, I believe. Domestically, Superman is crushing it. I do think Superman's doing very well, but I think it is worth the conversation of globally, worldwide, it could have done a little bit better.
I see it as a thing because Variety has a whole article about kind of the success of the movie, other little talking points that we're going to talk about later. But they basically say, like, internally at Warner's, they were expecting that level of a response globally. I think part of it's also just the American way of it all, even though that is not even Superman's slogan anymore, has kind of made the character be perceived a certain way in other countries, given the current climate of everything. But I think the domestic is as good as it is. I looked at our like local AMC IMAX or Cinemark IMAX last night at 10 p.m. and it was more full than some of the opening night showings that I've been to. Like, it was crazy seeing that much of a response. And I think really just the money is going to be one thing, but just the goodwill of the brand, you cannot put a price tag on. Like, the fact that people are this positive and this hyped and talking about everything, that is worth more than maybe a couple $50-100 million more in the global box office.
I do think that the fact that James freaking got baited into a quote about, this is an immigrant. So he wrote this movie 3 years ago, by the way. The script was submitted 3 years ago. This was not a story intended as a metaphor for ICE and all the crap going on in LA and around the US right now. But it just so happens this is a story about good guys and bad guys. And if you're equating that to the things you're seeing, well, I think you can fill in the blanks. But the fact that it became such an insane talking point to co-opted, I think, by conservative media, I do think that cost the movie a few $1 million. I think there are people who didn't see it because they're like, well, but that James Gunn talking about that there Superman. So I it's whatever. But this movie is having a huge success domestically still, and I'm really happy to see it. It's really fun to be riding with because it's just like it feels like we're all excited about something, and the movie is just genuinely a feel-good movie. And I'm happy to be seeing this. Says, hey, Brandon Moore on the 10. Thank you for the super chat. Congrats on the panels, y'all. By the way, I noticed today because when we're live, we have the StreamYard chat, and we can see the chats, and we can add them to the screen and everything. But I don't see the crowns. If you watch in the YouTube chat, you can see like the top supporters and stuff. So I got to shout out Judon Foster is the #1. John Brown, #2, and Brandon Moore, #3. I think that is so cool. I think that those are like crowns based on who or tiers or something. Tiptoe Cloud, also #3. I don't know, but the crowns keep changing. Whatever it is, the crowns mean something about that. And I want to express gratitude to those of you who have earned crowns on our live shows. That's pretty cool.
I will say, just piggybacking off of what you're saying about like the Fox News controversy of it all, like some of the reporting over the past weekend said that it didn't underperform in redder, more conservative districts. Like people still turned up and showed for it. And I also think even the amount of people who might have been turned off by that are kind of being outweighed by the number of people who, like you said, this movie was written years ago, but they're seeing other political relevance in some of the allegory and in the international stuff that Superman is kind of playing a part in. And I think like it's all just balancing out in one way or another. And like people are still reacting to it and having mostly a positive reaction, which again is just surreal.
It's funny. I'm kind of the opposite end of the people who are mad about Superman always being an immigrant, which is so funny. Because what do you mean?
From another planet.
I know. But what's funny is I was talking to my mother the other day, and she was like angrily shouting our talking points of like, I'm so immigrant. And I'm like, my mother heard that somewhere, but she believed it and she knows it's true. And it was funny to her and my mom like really getting heated about how that this is even news, because my mom is like not paying attention to Superman. Like my mom's a Marvel person. She does not care about what's going on in the DC world. But it was fun to hear her get mad at people for getting mad at this.
I found it. Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like that stuff is so funny because people will say one thing on the internet and then they'll just go to record their reaction. Thereby, it's the same thing as we're living through with John Cena in wrestling and stuff, where if you show up and buy a ticket to boo, if you show up and buy a ticket to cheer, they still get the money. If you buy the shirt ironically, you still get the cash the check. So whatever. I am a little bit sad that it seems like this is the absolute proof that the China market stuff that used to go on in 2019 is done. It's over. If it didn't happen for this movie, I don't know if we're ever going to get back to that at all. And I don't know if that was sustainable because now it looks like it was just one weird year. Like, I think I've talked about this with Jenna before. Like, that 2019, 7 movies doing $1 billion, that ain't never coming back. I think we have proof of that now. Lilo and Stitch is at like $9.95 or something like that. It's close, but I don't know. It would be impressive if you get 3 in a year, which this still has a chance to possibly do because the word of mouth is that strong. It would be great, but I didn't expect this thing to be like $500 million global opening. Like, not with how much damage has been done to the American brand in the last 7 months. Are you crazy?
Well, I don't even equate it to the American brand. I just equate it to like the comic book genre in general. Like, I think that if you look at Thunderbolts and you look at Captain America and some of the other movies that have preceded this too, like they're not the layups that they used to be. And the DC brand specifically has just been so fractured, and you know, there's so much debating it on top of everything else that we've just talked about. I think that it's going to be but that leaves me to wonder about how Fantastic Four will do overseas, and we'll kind of be able to have more and more of a set of, you know, data, whatever, to compare these things. C Black, thank you for the $4.99. Superman struggling to make $500 million and losing money was not on my bingo card. Well, thank you for the $4.99. I just don't see it as struggling to make $500 million and or losing money. I don't think either of those are true. I think it's probably going to pass 500 million pretty easily. It's at like, isn't it like over 300 by now or something?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's going to have a really strong weekend too. I think when Fantastic Four comes is when you're going to actually see a really big drop. Now, I could be wrong. This could have a substantial weekend to drop because everybody's going on weekdays.
I want to say I saw it a second time yesterday. It was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock on a Tuesday in IMAX, and it was really packed. Also, this weekend is Smurfs and I Know What You Did Last Summer, which are two very specific kind of audiences, which I think means that Superman will thrive this weekend. I think Superman could easily still win this weekend.
I think it does.
It
I
will.
think it will.
Yeah.
Smurfs will be some stiff competition, but I think there's a real chance Superman is number one again.
Yes.
Mr. Avalez 95, thank you for the $4.99. Dropping some face hero love. Also, why does Marvel think we aren't going to see F4? Are they scared of DC for once? Love you guys. We'll touch on that when we get to I know what you're referencing. We have a big Fantastic Four talking point for later in the show. But it's going to be interesting if this is the first time in a long time it has felt like Marvel is sort of chasing DC. Because Superman had a very successful opening just 2 weeks before Fantastic Four. And I think looking at these two and how they perform is going to be interesting. Obviously, they're not directly in competition with each other, but any movie at the box office is in competition to some extent with every other movie at the box office, specifically if you fit into the same comic book genre, especially. But we'll see. It is projected here. I have the notes here. I think Jenna put these notes in. Projected for $55 million domestically in its second weekend, which is a pretty damn strong second weekend. Smurfs might top that. We'll see. I haven't been on the Smurfs train, but I know Rihanna's in there, and there's a lot of.
Aaron and I saw Smurfs.
We
You're gonna get families. You're gonna get families.
I do feel like a lot of those families might just go see Superman again, or go see it if they haven't already seen it. Like, I don't know.
It's the little kids, the little ones.
Yeah. I'm still gonna take my mom to see Superman at some point. You know, it's like families are going to see this too. I mean, I'm not a kid. But
my review for that hashtag show literally was, unfortunately for you, your kids are gonna love it. That was my, because yikes. But kids, we were in a packed theater full of kids, and they were having fun. Let me tell you.
Oh my God. Not as much fun as the adults were in that screening, Jamie.
The woman behind us answered 2 phone calls. She was talking on the phone.
No.
Can I say something? Can I say something controversial?
Go ahead, man.
I know we're not supposed to take our phones out in movies, and I haven't, and I won't. But that Superman logo is begging to have its picture taken.
Sorry.
It is. And a lot of people are doing it. And I see it in my feed, and I'm like, oh, it looks so cool.
If anything, the end credits. Take a picture of it in the end credits. Do not take a picture of it in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Not.
Yeah.
If you scramble for your phone in the beginning and then you accidentally have the flash go off, you get out of here.
No.
Hey, 199 Cameron Lang, thank you. Yo, made it to a live show. Welcome to our live circus, Cameron. Happy to have you here. Thank you so much for the 199. All right. Superman 2.
Yeah. So James was asked on Threads when Superman 2 was coming out, and his response was 3 words. It was define Superman 2. He's previously been kind of coy about what he's working on. He said to Entertainment Weekly earlier this year that he's working on something, but it wouldn't necessarily be right to call it a direct sequel and a direct follow-up to Superman. I love not really knowing what he means by this. I think that there are a lot of different theories that you can have, and there's like validity to all of them of like, is it a Superman and Supergirl movie? Is it a Superman in the Justice League movie? Like anything feels possible at this point. What do you guys think?
My fear, and I don't think he's going to do this, but my fear is that it's not definitely not going to be like a Batman versus Superman situation. But if it is World's Finest, is that we are kind of going back in that direction of we're putting Batman and Superman together so quickly. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think James is very, very good at subverting our expectations and not in a Last Jedi kind of way, which some people like. I'm not a fan of. Didn't mean to bring it up, but yeah, like
Jamie, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, it's just the first one that came to mind.
Not be allowed to talk about on the show because I don't want our friendship to falter.
It's just the first one that comes to mind with things that tried to subvert expectations that didn't work for me personally. I have no ill will towards people who love that movie. It's just not my favorite movie.
I will say with the World's Finest of it all, James also did confirm earlier this year that like the plan is to have DCU Batman debut in Brave and the Bold. So realistically, that wouldn't mean that like World's Finest would come out beforehand. And I know he said literally to you in your interview that like it'll be less than a couple of years before we see Superman again. So like I don't know, and I love not knowing. I think like you said, subverting expectations is definitely the way to be going here, and people are enjoying that.
I know where Superman's next appearance is, and it is. Never mind.
Well.
Way too much.
He's just teasing that he's going to show up in Supergirl. That's honestly, that's what I think. I think it's that simple.
Supergirl and Peacemaker and Lanterns are all already done. So that all is. We got some super chats. Dalton Burdett, $20. I think Superman is doing well. I think Superman doing well will actually really help Fantastic Four's box office. Comic book movies usually lift each other up when they do well. Keep up the amazing work. I agree, Aaron. You think so?
I do too. The thing is that Pedro reposted a fan edit of like Mr. Fantastic and Superman bumping fists. And both these dudes are very nice. And also, what would Superman do? He would help someone in need. So I'm sure that you're going to get that weird cross-promotional, hey, our two stars really like each other. Go see the movies. Tom Cruise is going to be in the background jumping jacks with his ticket. Like, I was there too.
Can I also say though, because there was another super chat that I think already passed by asking about like losing the premium screens for Superman and if that's going to eat into the box office too badly. Jurassic didn't have IMAX at all and is still doing great. Like the numbers for that are kind of wild. And also like looking at my local theater for the opening weekend of FF, it's playing on fewer screens than like Superman is currently playing now in its first full week. So I think ultimately like whatever amount of screens it plays on, we're ultimately going to see. But I think Superman is playing in so many different showings at so many different times a day, and like that is already helping regardless of whatever the format is.
Also on the topic of Superman showing up again, the James Gunn quote to Screen Rant I found really interesting about Peacemaker.
Oh yeah.
He said that Peacemaker season 2 is going to really point towards what the next big DC universe event is. He said it's not what anyone thinks, it's not what anyone would guess, but I think if people watch the next season of Peacemaker, they'll see where a lot of these things are going and have a little bit more of a sense of maybe what can happen. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a really interesting tease. It's just really cool to feel this excited about something and have this many questions and see this many people engaged with it and starting to wonder. Whew, Peacemaker coming in hot, baby.
I want you guys to know that because of Superman, I finally started Creature Commandos last night. I watched the first 3 episodes. I'm really enjoying it. No offense to Frank Grillo, but animated Rick Flag is way hotter.
What do you think of my boy G.I. Robot? I need to know.
Amazing. I just watched a sad moment for him, so I'm a little concerned. But
wait, what episode are you on? 5?
I watched the first 3. So, but obviously knowing me, Bride is my girl. Come on.
Yo, Bride is the best character in the show.
Yeah.
But
I'm enjoying it.
Scott Autry, thank you for the $9.99 face hero chat popping off today. Absolutely best community. And then thank you, Scott. And thank you to the community for being the best community. Like, look at our comments. People don't get comments on live shows that are like this cool and fun and enthusiastic. We're very lucky to have such a good group with us. This is one of our topics, I think. But Hannah Basso with a $4.99.
Yeah, this is on the rundown.
Thank you, Hannah. What's your thoughts on Wonder Woman coming quickly? Who has what's the note on this one? Okay, Variety says DC fast tracking development on Wonder Woman and are thrilled with Matt Reeves' script for the Batman 2. I mean, define quickly, I think is not to pull a phrase that James Gunn kind of used. James, I think, also was quoted somewhere saying that once the Batman or Brave and Bold and Wonder Woman scripts are done, they'll greenlight them immediately and start moving. And that's sort of the process. I don't think that's surprising at all. That seems to be what he's doing, is we're waiting and finding out and seeing where we're at, seeing what we have. And then once we have something that makes sense, we greenlight it, we go. Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, you need them. You need them. But they also are developing stars in Mr. Terrific and Peacemaker and other characters that are not the A-list first thought, characters from DC Comics. And that's what James does so well with Guardians and Suicide Squad and this stuff. So I think you need those characters for the DC universe. I'm not surprised. I am happy to hear that they're coming, but I think it's really cool that Supergirl and others are getting their shine first as well.
It makes me happy that they're like really prioritizing it, because I know ever since the slate was initially announced, people were excited for Paradise Lost, but they were like, where is Wonder Woman herself? Like, people really wanted to see that. And so I think that it is a smart decision, especially like depending on how the Batman of it all shakes out, of like when part 2 starts filming, when Brave and the Bold script is ready, like what all of that ultimately looks like. It makes sense to then be like, we can make a Wonder Woman movie independent of all of that and really ride the goodwill of Superman and Supergirl. So I think it's a great decision. The casting discourse is going to be wild, as it already has been when people are theorizing, but I'm excited to be at that point because people are definitely hyped.
The Doomer says, Mr. Terrific movie by the Black Dynamite guys. Yes or no? I haven't seen Black Dynamite. Has anybody seen Black Dynamite?
It's so good. It's great. It's awesome. I mean, I will say I think a Mr. Terrific blaxploitation style movie would be hilarious, but I also feel like, we have this awesome character, let's throw him in the 70s black genre. It does feel a little I don't know. I feel like maybe you're more qualified to answer that.
I mean, Scott Sanders ain't made nothing in a while. Unfortunately, while Black Dynamite is hilarious, it made like $0, but it is funny as all get out. A guy walking into a hairstylist office and being like, I'm out here looking for people selling drugs in our community. And then a guy being like, oh no, but Black Dynamite, I sell drugs in our community. And then he gets punched. It's funny as all get out. Mr. Terrific shaking people down would be funny, but I agree with Jamie. It's a little bit weird. Unless it's just all
a Mr. Terrific director right here and now. Please, James Gunn, are you listening? She has starred in one of the greatest DC projects of all time. She's a phenomenal director. Give it to Regina King.
Yes.
That's what I say about
Hell yeah.
I mean,
See, I'm still
also
on
very funny.
Yes, I'm still on the campaign that a Mr. Terrific spinoff would just turn into the Terrifics, which is the team with him, Metamorpho, Plastic Man. I think that feels likely, and yeah, give the pilot episode and the finale of that to Regina King. Like, you're printing money.
Can I say something controversial again?
Oh,
when I hear the news of like Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen spinoffs are being considered by James Gunn, I saw there was like a report. I think I saw that maybe it was just a rumor, but then I start to worry about how things have gone for Marvel.
I agree about Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen, I love him. He's my baby girl, but I don't. But Mr. Terrific as his own, absolutely. Jimmy Olsen belongs over in the Superman corner.
You might get series of Jimmy Olsen shorts.
Jimmy Olsen has 300 comics, like solo issues of his comic. Jimmy Olsen's comic is where Darkseid was introduced. Like, there is so much weird shit you can do with the Jimmy Olsen show. You can have him turn into a turtle. You can have him go to space. You can have him travel back in time. Like, if that show gets greenlit, it's not going to be just like The Office at the Daily Planet. Like, it is going to get into some really wacky, like high concept stuff, which that would be fun.
Well, Jenna told me. I'm ready.
4 more comics to El Muerto. 4.
I'm not saying there aren't stories to be told with them. The same way there's stories to be told with the likes of Moon Knight and She-Hulk and everyone else who has come, the Hawkeye, the onslaught of Marvel TV shows that people started to say felt like homework, whether they were good or not. My fear is that the accessibility of the DC universe starting fresh feels really nice right now. And I think quantity became regardless of what you want to say about quality, I think quantity became fatiguing a bit for a lot of people. Maybe not for us. We're watching all of it, but I think that exists for a big portion of the audience. So that was it. I don't know. Would I watch it? Yeah, I'm fucking watching it, of course. Brad, thank you for the $7.99. Do you think the marketing for F4 has been over the top a little? Marvel hasn't hyped a movie of theirs this much since Infinity War. Thank you for $7.99. We're actually going to get to Fantastic Four in just a little bit. We've got a few more DC things to touch on. Amy, I feel like films go too quick. The digital hurts the box office numbers at the cinema. Excited for F4 catching live for the first time in a while. Great show. Megan 2.0, 17 days in theaters.
Yeah.
Digital. C Black 4.99. Thank you, my friend. You need A-list characters for box office in today's climate. Thunderbolts prove that you have to compete with Spider-Man 4, Doomsday Sequels, and X-Men Saga. I mean, to an extent, yes, but also I think if you just make a really good movie, something compelling, something unique that gets people talking and reacting positively, it also will sell tickets.
But some of like the characters that we've grown to love weren't always big. Like you have to shoot that shot sometimes. Like this is a great time to plug at 4:00 Pacific time on Love in the Time of Hydra's Patreon. We will be talking about Ant-Man's 10th anniversary with our friend Ash Crossan because Ant-Man came out 10 years ago, and just like Ant-Man obviously is an OG, but when that movie was announced, it did seem weird, right, to get an Ant-Man movie, and but now he's had 3. So you just never know. Sometimes you gotta see what sticks.
I will also say with like the A-lister comment, I think what DC's doing that's right is they're understanding like the level of audience for each project. Like Clayface is not necessarily, they're not expecting Clayface to make $500 million at the box office. They're also making the budget for that smaller because they understand like smaller budget ultimately means a higher box office return when the movie does well for a horror movie and a superhero movie and having more of kind of a niche audience. So I think like they'll compete with the movies that are coming out next year that are the big guns, but in a different way. And it won't necessarily be in like the box office numbers, but it'll just be in like the audience reaction and in like the variety of projects we're seeing.
Also, don't release your thing after Ryan Coogler makes a landmark thing of the 7 movies he's made. Don't do that. That seems to be the most important thing. It's literally putting a button on the control panel with a piece of tape that says "Do not suck." That's it. That's the answer. I solved it for you. There you go.
It's going to be interesting to see how the success of Jurassic and Superman affects Fantastic Four. Let's assume Fantastic Four is a good movie. Everybody just spent their theater money for the month on those 2 movies, man. I mean, we'll
Get
see.
A-list. Get AMC A-list. Seriously.
The pre-sales are already sold. What you mean? It's already
how much? I don't know off the top of my head, but I think a lot of people buy their people buy their tickets the week of or the day of release.
They do.
Us fans buy our tickets in advance, but I look at Fantastic Four the day they went on sale, the day after they went on sale at the old Regal Opry Mills in Nashville, Tennessee, which I won't even be able to go to because we'll be at Comic-Con. But I mean, a fifth of it is sold. It used to be the sites crashed because there was a race.
I got a press release that said it had the best press release numbers since like Quantumania. Like, what are we talking about?
Those were the best numbers of the.
Cancel.
I mean, I don't disagree that the numbers were good, but then even then, like Superman's pre-sale numbers were even higher than then because the FF tickets went on sale like weeks before, and even then, so many of the Superman showings that I was looking at or going to, a lot of the people were walk-ups who didn't pre-order them ahead of time. So I agree. Like I think the audience is just kind of shifting their behavior, and it'll be interesting to see. Right. How many people do walk up and want to go buy a ticket to FF or want to go see one of the other movies? I don't know.
I don't even think it's a reflection of Fantastic Four, to be clear.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, I hate this stupid crap, man.
All right, let's get something bright and fun on the screen then. How about Jamie's first time seeing the poster for Supergirl?
Oh!
The look up slogan has been turned to look out for Supergirl because she's going to come crashing into your ass because she's probably drunk.
I'm so happy.
That's great. I love it.
I think this is great. Brand synergy. Look at that. DC, all one vision. The marketing team is able to market things together. I think it's really, really cool. I love it. I love it.
I'm making a video about the poster for my channel right now, and I feel like the Lookout tagline, I love that Look Up was popular enough to be able to even do this, but I feel like Lookout has multiple meanings of like you said, she's crashing in, she's a very different kind of energy than Clark is, but it's also Look Out because the story that this movie is based on, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in the comics, is a whirlwind. Like it is a roller coaster. Like you are not ready for what you're about to go on. And even Look Out in the way of like the movie is very cosmic in nature. Like the setting of it is going to be a lot different than just being confined on Earth. So I love it. I think the poster's so cool. I'm obsessed with the jacket. I need to see at least one person cosplaying this next week at San Diego. I will be over the moon if that's the case.
Oh yeah, the Supergirl cosplays will be out. There's no way they're not. And one last thing on the DC front, Lanterns has wrapped production and it is set for release on HBO Max early 2026. So that's exciting. DC Universe.
I'm excited to see Guy Gardner again. Now that the audience loves Guy Gardner this much, like, and Nathan Fillion had a quote where he said he's never sworn as much in any project as he does in Lanterns. So I'm very much looking forward to Guy Gardner dropping a million F-bombs and just palling around with Hal and John. I think it's going to be great.
The staying power of Nathan Fillion's career has just like, I've been like, you know, like I truly, since I was a wee tween watching him on Buffy, like what a joy to see him in one of the biggest movies currently out there.
All right, that is our DC Universe roundup. Let's switch over to Marvel. Fantastic Four. First of all, breaking news happened right before the show went live. Fantastic Four First Steps has cut John Malkovich from the movie, which hurts my soul for two reasons. One, it would have been cool to see John Malkovich in the MCU. Two, I was right in my prediction that he was Red Ghost, and I don't get to see it. But Matt Shackman dropped a quote to Variety, said he was confirmed playing Red Ghost as part of a. This is what I think that this is the Variety details of it. Part of a lengthy sequence detailing the titular family's early years as superheroes, including when they battled the Red Ghost and his team of super apes. They cut the super apes, man. That would have
been a big summer for monkeys in the
I'm so sad.
Release it as a Disney Plus feature or something. Please, I beg. And the quote from Matt Shackman, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking not to include him in the final version of the movie because he's one of my very favorite humans and one of my biggest inspirations. I believe there's another quote here. There were a lot of things that ultimately ended up hitting the cutting room floor when we were building a 60s retro future world, introducing all of these villains, introducing these four main characters as a group, as well as individually introducing the idea of a child. There was a lot of stuff to balance in this movie, and some things had to go ultimately in terms of shaping the film for its final version. But cutting John Malkovich is crazy, bro. That's such a big actor to cut.
On one hand, I'm so sad because I love John Malkovich and I would have loved to have seen what he would have done with this. On the other hand, I trust Matt so much that if he's willing to cut someone as like high end as John Malkovich, it means he knows what he's doing. It means he's putting the movie first, and that honestly, it gives me really high hopes for what he has created in the final product. But it is also a big old bummer.
It bums me out mainly because the runtime of this movie is less than 2 hours. Like, I don't understand why we couldn't have just included, like, I don't know how long these scenes were. I hope there's at least some of the lengthy sequence of them in their early years fighting all of these other villains, because I was really looking forward to that. But man, I wanted to see the apes. I wanted to see it. It's funny that John Malkovich now has been cut from 2 completely different Marvel franchises and never has like hit the screen in either of them, because he was supposed to be Vulture in Spider-Man 4 for Sam Raimi. But it just bums me out, man. I'm still hopeful, but it isn't really, I don't know. It's not encouraging knowing that he's now cut.
Fans wanted it to be more simple and they've simplified it, and there's no middle ground to any of it, unfortunately. Like, I don't know. Like, it would have been cool. I don't mind a movie being a certain thing, but when, you know, a bunch of people yell about they should all be shorter, they should be more lean, they should be more compact, you lose out on the cool monkey sometimes, and that kind of sucks, you know?
Even then, I feel like a lot of people weren't complaining about the runtime of this movie. Like, people
No, I'm talking about just in general.
I know, movies. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, especially given all of the chatter we just had about Superman and how many things that movie introduces, like the idea of John Malkovich and space monkeys being like too much to give to this audience, like, I wish that they would have just committed to doing it, because I feel like it would have been a lot of fun.
Superman's script was committed 3 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that the massive blowback against the genre among mostly critics started too. So he got in under the gun.
I see what you did there. I do. I see what you did. Well, I want to see something real quick before I say that we have. We have our next topic actually segueing out of this.
Yeah, so on the FF train, I wanted to suggest or just talk about something that the chat is also kind of weighing in on. I feel like the clips in the trailers in the 11th hour for FF are showing way too much. I know I said a couple weeks ago on the show that I was like watching every single thing that was available. That has now changed. I didn't even watch the trailer that they put out last weekend. I have not watched any of the clips because they don't even feel like clips. They feel like almost the entire scene of certain sequences that they're showing. And obviously they're still saving a lot of the big action and a lot of other stuff in there. But I just feel like they're showing way too much, way too late. And it almost kind of bums me out because I want to be surprised by these sequences in the movie. What do you guys think?
I stopped a while ago. Because I agree. We don't need it.
There's no value in saying what the new trailer gave away or the new clip gave away. If you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, you're still going blind, so I'll spare you. But I'll say this, the trailers, my gut instinct is they're saying too much, especially in that clip specifically. I do think that clip's probably going to be early in the movie, like very early in the movie. And a lot of those clips will be early in the movie, but that sort of plot point, I think, is early in the film, and it's not too much of a spoiler, but my gut says I wish I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know what the movie was about, though, before that clip, if that makes sense. It was just, I felt like it was just, hey, here's Fantastic Four. I can make a bunch of theories, but I don't think they really conveyed what's going on. It's a family, and they're going to fight Galactus, which I guess is all you need to know. Because Silver Surfer says, I herald his beginning, I herald your end, becomes a TikTok trend, and then that's kind of all we knew. And now we sort of, they kept referencing there's a reference in the synopsis that kept saying, it becomes personal. Now we understand. But that's all I'll say on that. But
that's why it's interesting to me that you didn't, like, I don't know, I had inferred that was going to be the case, like, as soon as that synopsis was released. And so hearing it confirmed, I was almost like, I didn't need to hear this a week and a half before I go see the movie. I just wanted to go see the movie and be surprised by the arc as it presents itself. And based on our chat, it seems like a lot of people feel the same way. So I know they're going to do this. I'm very worried about, like, this time next week, if they pull a Deadpool and Wolverine and, like, show something even crazier that we might not want to see right away. But I don't know.
As soon as we got to this point where it happened in Deadpool Wolverine, to the T of when Jamie Drax said it would, I knew that we were not going to stop. Like, and that's just unfortunate, because for this job, I had to watch the spoilers and, like, figure out what's going on. Being next to Eric Voss and just sponging in every single promo about this movie was very funny. I'm like, man, oh man, if you didn't have to do this job, you probably wouldn't. But also, we exist in a place where we've seen every single, or at least until the last couple of weeks, you two had seen every single thing about this movie. And because of the Superman press tour and people's lives this summer, other stuff going on outside, people might not be aware. So I guess they're in the theoretical thing where you only see one of them. You wouldn't even put all this other stuff together. So we'll see what happens.
But I will say the clips that they're showing, I don't think they're necessarily going to sell, like, a more casual viewer on the movie. Like the plot point that we're talking about, there might be some casual comic fans who then are like, oh, I'm intrigued. But, like, they probably already were slightly intrigued to begin with. It's not selling it to an entirely new audience. It's interesting. I mentioned this to Aaron when we were on the phone yesterday. I got a targeted YouTube ad for the movie, and it was a TV spot that only cut together the pregnancy stuff and, like, the we're going to be parents of it all, and had none of the superheroics, no Galactus, whatever. And I was like, it's interesting that they're trying to even sell it to that sort of micro audience. But I feel like the clips aren't doing that. The clips are just kind of like giving things away.
A $4.99 super chat about Fantastic Four here from Devil Spawn. Thank you, Devil Spawn. What a weird thing to say. But which 60s needle drop are you excited for in F4? I personally can't wait for Runaround Sue during the month. I don't know what that's a reference to.
They're just making a joke about the love triangle that isn't even really a love triangle.
Is there a soundtrack for Fantastic Four yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna disappoint you on your $4.99 super chat. I don't know too many 60s tracks off the top of my head, so I can't name any.
I grew up at an oldies radio station, and I don't have an answer to this question. But I think it's going to be fun no matter what.
I keep seeing this chat, and now we have a super chat about it.
Oh, the Variety thing?
99 says, Variety just said that Reed is the leader of the Avengers. Yeah, well, I guess this is... okay, so the quote is from Matt Shackman, who said, he goes from being the nerdy scientist who's locked away in the lab to the husband and the father who'd do anything to protect his family to the guy who's leading the Avengers. I realized that the version we were building had to have all those elements. I think he's going to be among a leader of the Avengers. That's kind of seems like an off-the-cuff comment from Shackman. There's also going to be like different groups of them. We'll have the new Avengers. We'll have Sam Wilson's Avengers.
That almost sounds to me like he's just talking about like the different evolutions of Reed in the comics. Like it doesn't necessarily sound like that's exclusive to Pedro's version. It's just more like this is the different hats that he wears in the comics, and like we needed to capture all of that when bringing him to life. So I have no idea.
Right. There's a funny clip here. This is from Sensacine. I'm just gonna share the screen and play this clip. And like, this is one of those like, is this a Mark Ruffalo moment? And we'll be the judge. Here we go.
I mean, I was excited to work with
everybody.
Robert Downey Jr. No, man. I mean, I've loved him for so long, man. He's one of my favorite actors. What a brilliant actor. I mean, so that's come at me.
Too bad you don't have any scenes with him.
Oh, okay. Or do I?
Yeah.
All right. Well, did Pedro spoil that the Thing and Doctor Doom never crossed paths? I don't know. Evan recovered quite quickly, or do I?
It felt to me like he was hinting that RDJ was in the movie and Pedro was trying to scale him back. Like, he's not in our movie. That's how I took that.
Oh.
Like RDJ's in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's what I just gathered from watching that. That Evan made the mistake by bringing up RDJ, but maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah, it could be. I think this is just them having fun. There's so many videos and photos and things that seem to be popping up on social media from the set of Avengers Doomsday to the point that I'm starting to wonder, is this intentional?
Because one of them came out like late last week and people were like, if this was the olden days, like Kevin Feige would have burnt like the internet down to try to get this photo removed. And yet it is still popping up everywhere. Like, I think it's kind of wild living in a world where those things can just be out. But yeah, like you said, I'm almost kind of starting to suspect maybe it's a little intentional.
Because it does kind of get you interested in Fantastic Four, right? If you're an Avengers fan, you're seeing some of these things. You're like, oh, hold on, it's all connected. I gotta, I'll be honest. I see these things. I see them on Twitter. I see them on Facebook, and I look at them. But I don't like to talk about them on the show, and I'm never going to feature them on the show. That's not what we do here. But yeah, obviously we see this stuff just like everyone else does. We're fans too, but we just don't like to incorporate it out of respect to the people making the films. Spider-Man 4 using practical sets. It's kind of exciting. Tom Holland was on the Flip Your Wig podcast. He said, don't do the Tom Holland. Don't do it. I'm obviously over the moon and so excited. Playing Spider-Man is like hanging out with an old pal. And I think we were really restricted with what we could do in the last movie because of COVID. We shot the entire film on stages. Now we're really going to lean into that old school filmmaking and shoot in real locations, which is why we're starting in Glasgow. And we're going to use the streets of Glasgow to build this massive set piece that we're putting together. So it's going to feel like making 2017 Spider-Man 1 again. It's been such a long time since I've done it. It's going to feel like a breath of fresh air. And I think the fans are going to be over the moon with what we're putting together. I'm going to mute myself because I have to take a call, but please discuss.
It's like, if you haven't already, go watch the behind the scenes stuff for No Way Home, because like the extent to which they were able to digitally create very mundane moments in that movie, it's impressive. But I definitely get where he's coming from of like wanting to shoot more practically. Like, I'm sure that is a much more visceral, better experience, and it excites me, especially given what Destin has done in the past. What do y'all think?
I'm always into practical. I'm always team practical in any way you can get it. If it can be practical, that's what I want. I don't think it's a secret that Homecoming is my favorite Spider-Man movie. So yeah, give it to me. I'm ready.
I'm of the point that the first half of this statement is probably more interesting than the second half. I think that all that stuff has a real effect on the actors, as real actors who are real people on a set, being on that set, being inside, dealing with all the other stuff, probably had more of an effect on how he processed everything than maybe whatever. And the audience too. It's me. I'm always going to put it. I don't care. But it'll be interesting to see what they got, because the story of this thing is the real what's going on here to me. Every single rumor that flies around this movie sounds more insane than the last. And I'm like, what in the world is this thing?
Yeah.
All right. I missed that conversation.
What do you think of the practical sets? That was the extent to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I think the Glasgow stuff is cool. I think that a lot of people's reaction to that is, oh, they're not doing New York, they're not doing Grounded, but Glasgow can easily be posed as New York, I think, as a set. I'm all for it. I mean, looking at Superman and seeing the behind the scenes of what they did in the baseball stadium and stuff, I think you don't even necessarily realize it when you're watching it, but you do end up coming away from it, enjoying it a bit more, and being a bit more immersed when it's captured in camera. So I think we are out of the VFX age. Like, everything is always going to have VFX, but I think the big, huge VFX show, unless it's something new, kind of goes in one eye and out the other now for a lot of instances. And I think we're getting back to appreciating practical, and that's kind of fun to see.
I will also say Glasgow was Gotham in the Batman, and like you wouldn't know that watching the movie. Like, yes, they shot some exteriors in Chicago and elsewhere, and it kind of all facsimile together. But like, you can easily shoot it for like a New York-esque location, even if you're not physically in New York.
Quentin wants to be heard. Spent $5 for the super chat here with the take on RDJ. I think RDJ is almost certainly in Fantastic Four. Marvel needs a hit anyway, and they can get it. And I think business-wise, it's a no-brainer. Thank you for the 5, Quentin. And I agree. I think it's smart to put him in there. I think that Downey's this 9-figure rumored deal that Downey's getting paid to come back to Marvel. I think it includes 2 Avengers movies, Fantastic Four, Disney parks, promo for Ironheart, all the stuff he's doing. I think that's part of him making enough money to feed the planet off of one deal.
At the very least, he's in the credit scene, I think.
Gotta be. I think so too. Danny Brown agrees. Danny Brown says. Who knows? Maybe he's in even more of the movie. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see soon. I see the movie in a couple days, I think. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right. I think that's all on the Marvel front. Let's shift gears to real quick. I want to share my thoughts on The Naked Gun. I got to see the movie last night. That's why I'm in New York right now. When we hang up, I'm going to go do some Naked Gun stuff. I thought the movie was hilarious. Aren't you guys big Naked Gun fans from the original movies?
I really like the original a lot. So I'm really excited for this one.
I have not seen any of them, but I'm a huge Akiva Schaffer fan. Like, Popstar is a foundational text in our household. Like, that movie gets rewatched at least once a year. So as soon as I heard that he was involved and I saw that first teaser, I was like, I am in for whatever this is.
I didn't have a huge affinity for the original Naked Gun movies, but I didn't not like them. They never really hit me because I was so young when they came out. I never revisited them, but I did watch this one, and I thought this movie was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, Liam Neeson shouldn't be this funny. It is just, it's ridiculous, but I just want to say, like, I've been wanting Austin Powers 4 for such a long time, and this felt like it scratched that itch in a sense, because honestly, there's gimmicks in this movie that are clearly Austin Powers gimmicks. There's also homage being paid to the original Naked Gun movies in a lot of ways, but I feel like if you like the trailer for Naked Gun and you laugh at it, that's what this movie is. It is fucking ridiculous. It is just so silly, but I genuinely had such a fun time laughing with this movie, and it's so short too. It's like 85 minutes long.
Wow.
Short movie. So easy.
As a comedy should be.
Yeah. Easy outing.
I'm really excited about this movie because, I spent 10 years of my life very ingrained in comedy and in the comedy scene and all that stuff. And comedy is harder to make these days for a lot of reasons. And a movie like this, when they first announced it, I was like, really? But then when I saw who was directing it and everything I'm hearing about it, like, we are starved for a movie that is just funny. Like that's what David Wayne's one of my favorite directors of all time because he makes movies like that too, that are pure comedy, weird jokes. I want weird, nasty shit on my screen, and I think I hope that's what we're getting here.
I'll say I'm pretty sure this movie's not rated R, so it doesn't get too nasty or crazy. But there's a few jokes. It might be, but I don't think it was. There's a few jokes that I was like, no way they just said that in like 2025. Like, there's a few things that are pretty. It's a ridiculous movie. Yeah, I laughed a lot. Jamie, I think you're going to get a real kick out of this one. Yeah, so I want to shout it out. Actually, the call I just got was to set up an interview with Akiva. So I'm going to do a direct debrief with Akiva maybe in the next 2 days, but we might have to push it back because I'm just flying home tomorrow, flying to LA tomorrow night, and then junkets over the weekend and stuff. But I really want to talk to him because I just thought the movie was so funny and it just makes great stuff. Tough luck with a comment here. What do you guys think of the Pixar, the teaser for Pixar's Hoppers? I haven't seen it. I've seen Hopper stuff at D23. Has anybody watched it yet?
I've seen the stuff at D23.
Aaron saw it.
I wrote it up this morning for a hashtag show.
What'd you think?
I really like it. I'm a little bit nervous because of that Hollywood Reporter article. That has me a little nervous about them possibly reining in some of the quote unquote messaging in the film, which is all film really is. But a nice little story about an environmentally inclined young woman trying to learn how to talk to animals and then getting trapped as a beaver. Let me tell you right now, Aaron loves Princess and the Frog. If we get anywhere near the physical comedy of that with these goofy little beavers, it's funny too. You can see there's like little other kids movie things. I'm in that mode because I had to sit through Smurfs with Jamie on Saturday, and it was hysterical. Poor Jamie went in there completely blind, and then it went places we didn't think it was going to go. and she toughed it out. My wife fell asleep next to us.
I was so jealous. She was bugged.
But yeah, it looks good. I mean, the funny thing, Elio looks fine too. I don't know what people want out of anything anymore. It doesn't matter if anything's good. It doesn't matter.
I get where you're coming from. I gotta watch.
Go watch Fit Dad CEO's video on it as well. Go watch Dave's video. He'll do a better job of explaining this.
All right. Hey, thank you, Tough Luck. Jamie, you saw I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I sure did. And let me tell you, the Rotten Tomato score is out right now, and I'm shocked by how low it is because I love the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was the first R-rated movie I ever saw when I was a kid. It opened my eyes a little bit to horror. I have a soft spot for it. I love the core four of that movie so much that I did not think the new one was going to be good. I had very low expectations. And I had so much fun watching this movie. It took the requel formula very well. It has flaws for sure. I think it's a little slow to start. But by the end, I was kicking my feet. I was like, and I walked out of that movie and everyone I talked to liked it. And my feeling is, do these reviewers, do they not know the original movie? Because the original movie is a little silly. It's a little ridiculous. And they honored it perfectly. So I'm really shocked by these reviews. If you like the original movie, go see it. Seriously, I want to see it again. I really liked it. Everything about it. There were some surprises in there that genuinely. My review for that hashtag show is spoiler free, but on Friday I'm dropping a video on my channel about all the spoilers because I just have so much to say. It was a hard thing to write without talking about the spoilers. So if you like the original movie, I think you should see it. Truly, I had a blast.
I've never seen any of them, but I love the writer and director of this. She actually co-wrote Love and Thunder. She did a couple of different TV shows that I really like. Do Revenge, which is her Netflix movie, is one of my favorite Netflix original movies ever. So I've never been into this franchise before, but she might be the thing that ultimately drives me into it.
I might check this one out. I've been going to the movies almost every week for the past 6 weeks, and it's been really fun. So I plan to keep that up.
It's a popcorn slasher. That's what you're getting in this movie. And at a summer popcorn, it's following in the footsteps of Scream 2022. It's taking that, just like I Know What You Did Last Summer, followed in the footsteps of Scream almost 30 years ago. It's the same business. And I just don't get not liking that. And someone in the comments is don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes, but that's what we do. Those are my peers. Those are my friends. But clearly some of them just aren't. Some of them. Yeah. Obviously, I don't know every single critic on earth. But all my actual friends did give it a fresh score. So just saying.
I was just explaining. Sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent real quick, just about the friends we have in this space. I was just explaining to somebody who's not in space, but is going to come to the wrestling match in San Diego. And I was like, but I'm going to be honest with you. I probably won't be able to hang out much that weekend because it is the one time of the year that every friend we have in the entertainment space is in the same place. Last year's Comic-Con was probably my favorite because that I'm gonna give it away, but that werewolf bar. If you're
don't blow up our spot.
BD.
We move around, but come say hi, come have a drink. But we had a couple Face Hero people that bought us drinks. Hey, thanks, appreciate you. I'm gonna run so at wrestling shows, there's these things called gimmick tables where the wrestlers go and they put their pictures out. You could buy an autograph, you could buy a T-shirt. It's just you run your gimmick. Your gimmick is for sale. We're gonna run Phase Hero gimmick tables at one of the bars. Fuck it, we're gonna invite everybody out to come get autographs and pictures and merch.
I like that BD just implied that a merch table is a wrestling thing.
I know.
Invented the concept of the merch table.
I think the 100 of concerts I went to in middle school and high school beg to differ, but okay.
Wrestling invented this, okay, very clearly. No one's ever done it before. It's called a gimmick table.
They just changed the name.
Speaking of
buying things, there's going to be a gimmick table for the Odyssey setup tomorrow.
I added this to the rundown because I knew Jamie would lose her mind. So take it away.
please.
I'm
Ridiculous. I'm sorry, BD, you go first.
1 year in advance. Tickets for the Odyssey, 70mm screenings only, are going on sale. So everyone who isn't living in this bubble, who wants to see the Odyssey in 70mm IMAX, is probably cooked. They're probably out to sea, like Odysseus is on that one. But also, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm going to buy a ticket somewhere that they're not going to have this in Nashville. I might buy a ticket in LA or Atlanta or something if I can get on one of these sites and plan a whole trip around seeing the Odyssey in 70mm IMAX. Jamie, what you got thoughts?
Well, first of all, on AMC A-List, when you pre-order a ticket, it stays in your week for the thing until you use it. I'm not wasting one of my slots for a year, first of all. But second of all, like for me, this a year in advance for me personally kind of makes sense because I almost always go to the movies on Thursday nights when it comes out, like exclusively, unless some insane thing is happening in a year from now. That's what I'll be doing anyway. But this is ridiculous on so many levels. First of all, it's a little pretentious isn't the right word. It's but you get what I'm saying, right? I don't think it's really fair or nice, and I think it's a bit. I wish the word would come to me, but I think you kind of get the idea. I think it's ridiculous, and I get it. Like they're like, oh, Oppenheimer did so well, and this movie's even more suited for this format. But like, you're asking a lot of moviegoers to make this decision a year in advance.
I do appreciate that it's like getting people talking about film formats and like kind of appreciating 70mm, because I do remember like with Oppenheimer and even just other movies that have shown in 70mm, like people did drive like multiple states over and like plan entire trips around going to see it. So it's like I know that the audience is definitely out there. I love it because it's getting us talking about it, and it also just the memes out of it are very funny, of people being like, let me order my like soda ahead of time and make sure what kind of soda I want a year from now. Like it's ridiculous, but it feels like the kind of thing that like I don't know, it just helps us talk about the movie even more. The teaser's good, but like this is getting us talking even more.
All of us assuming we're all still going to be alive in a year with the way the world's going.
Don't do that.
Let alone that I like
my technical is like,
yeah. Let alone that I'll like the same soda a year from now.
it's just
that was dark. I'm sorry. All right. Wait, Aaron, was there something you want to say about this before we get to the last?
Could they have imagined when Ryan filmed that goofy little promo video that all of this would transpire, that all this would happen, that you'd have like normal people talking about the difference in perforations and film formats? No.
You thank Kevin McCarthy too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The unpaid IMAX ambassador.
As someone who because I'm lucky enough to live in LA, I go to retro screenings constantly, and I get to see movies on film constantly. And seeing movies on film, it is special. It hits different. And I love Nolan for making that a more mainstream thing. I respect him, and I'm grateful for that. But a year in advance is just a bit.
Can we put Devil Spawn's comment up on screen? Because like I have also thought about this too, of like are you going to put your ticket in a will or a trust or like pass it on to another person, like if in the event of something happening to you?
That's where my joke originally was going, but I just tried to make it a bit more generic.
Instead you made it a bummer.
Well, like I was gonna say, people are gonna buy tickets and like they might not even be alive anymore in a year. Like, then I just made it a whole joke. Like you might, there might be empty seats, and then you got to wonder, oh no, did they not make it from last July? Darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. All right. Well, I do think we might have to sound the alarm. I'm not sure. Sometimes they happen, but I feel like this one is one that. Oh, okay. It's okay. It's
not a red alert.
Not a red alert. Kind of amber, orange, yellow, maybe. The Emmy nominations came out. I'm not. I'm not an award season person. I think it's cool, but James.
I sure have a lot of thoughts. Since our show is about certain things, let's just kick it off real quick. The Agatha of it all. I think that Marvel made a mistake by trying to go for the comedy category. For first of all, it was just a big year for comedy. Like I think if they had gone limited series, there might have been some more nominations. But also, why are you going comedy? That implies that you're getting more seasons. And I don't think we're ever getting a second season of that show. We might get a spinoff, Children's Crusade, whatever, but we're not getting Agatha all along season 2. That just seems ridiculous. So not doing that, I think lost out for Catherine Hahn, lost out for Patti LuPone, but it did get a music nod. So at least the Ballad of the Witch's Road might win an Emmy, much like the WandaVision songs did. I do think it's hilarious that Catherine Hahn got a nomination for the studio because, love it. I love that show. I love how many nominations that got, especially for the guest actors. But it is a little silly if you compare her performances. One had so much more nuance, and one is just her kind of Kermiting her hands all the time, which is great. I also want to bring up Andor and the fact that Andor got a best drama nod, other nods, and the whole cast was snubbed. That feels wrong to me. That especially Genevieve and Diego, they should have been acknowledged. And I understand you only got 5 slots, right? That's the thing of TV. Who am I going to cut for them? And another big thing, people are constantly talking about how The Bear is not a drama, it's not a comedy, it's a drama. People are saying that all the time. Stop nominating The Bear for a comedy. Stop nominating for The Bear for comedy. Stop nominating The White Lotus as a drama.
Yeah.
Why talking about that more? Because The White Lotus is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, and putting that in the drama category to me feels like you're just misunderstanding what a comedy and a drama is. I've always said it before, I'll say it again: add genre categories, cut gender categories. That's how I feel. Team Severance all the way. So happy to see how many nominations that got. Ultimate and the Penguin. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, we're all here rooting for the Penguin. I think that we can agree to that. Does anyone have any thoughts after? I guess it kind of was a rant in the end, wasn't it?
The chat loves it.
Okay, I'm glad.
I'm just happy you shouted out the Penguin because I was going to if you didn't. It deservedly got so many technical nominations, basically every category it could get. I'm very happy about that. And
you're muted, VD.
You're muted.
I don't dare follow that. I'm not educated enough to follow that. I'm not worthy. I say yes. Go, Jamie.
Thank you.
Also, go look at Martin Scorsese's reaction photo when he got the Emmy nomination, because it is adorable and is already being memed like crazy. People are like, it's the opposite of the Absolute Cinema meme of him, and I love it.
I thought The Studio was fantastic, though. That's a show I did watch start to finish. The fact it got so many nominations made me happy. I love your point about Agatha. I haven't finished Severance. I think Shrinking's great. Andor being snubbed. Genevieve specifically. Diego as well, but Genevieve above all. I'm kind of bummed to see didn't get one, but yeah, I guess I had a couple thoughts.
I'm a little bit sad that I'm just reading these because I have PTSD from working at the former site. I don't like looking at these long lists of people anymore because I used to be able to write them up. Jenna knows what it's about. I'm sad. Beyonce probably not gonna win. That makes me very, very sad. There's no way for outstanding production design in a variety special that SNL special isn't going to win that, which makes me sad. And of course, Bridgerton gets in there very, very slightly for production design and is going to get crushed by all of these very, very expensive 20th century Max things. Andor cost a small nation to produce, and so does freaking Dune Prophecy. There's no way they're not going to win. Makes me sad. Oh, and Taylor Sheridan in his weird cowboy universe is in there too. I don't know why. So many people watch that.
I get more invested in viewership and box office than I do in awards. I find I understand why people get into award season. It's and I also end up watching all these awards shows and rooting for the people I like and the shows I like. But the same way I feel like I talk about I want to see this movie do well at the box office or see the viewership or evaluate it based on success, based on those things. I think a lot of people put that stock in awards, which I find to be a fun thing.
To me, it's the closest thing I have to sports. I'm not a sports person, and this is my sports, and it has been since I was 10. So, it is all bullshit. You're paying to promote yourself. It's not. It's when you unmask the curtain, it's kind of gross, but I don't care. Let me have this.
It's the Parks and Rec quote of like awards are stupid unless they go to the people I like, and then they're slightly less stupid. Like that's basically how it is.
Here's also the thing: most people watching the awards shows don't know that these awards are campaigned for and all but bought. I mean, I know they're not bought, but like it's you spend a lot of money to win an award, basically, if that makes sense. You need a studio campaigning for you, getting you out there, reminding people to vote for you, and things like that.
In LA, all you see are billboards.
And obviously, you have to do the good work first before that can happen. But yeah, I mean, if you do the good work but don't have a studio behind you, it's harder to win.
And so and the comments, is it bought? I mean, not specifically. It's not. No. A lot of the times the winners are deserving, I would say, but there is a lot of politics involved for sure.
All right, we're going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much to everybody who hung out with us and dropped super chats and dropped questions and had a good time with us here on Face Hero today. What a fun. We covered a lot of ground today. My goodness. Jamie, any last words for today's show?
Yeah, don't forget to vote for me and Tony as America's favorite couple. Go in my link in my bio. You get 2 votes today, actually, instead of 1 free, but you get 2. So keep that in mind. And again, today on Leo's Patreon, join us at 4:00. We're only $1 a month. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about Ant-Man. Can you believe Ant-Man's 10? It's crazy. So, and also in my Superman screening yesterday, I saw 0 phones. So thank you for to that universe.
People were shaking in their boots when they saw,
they saw me coming.
The vote for Jamie and Tony thing. I texted myself the link so it would go to my computer so that it's easier to vote and I don't have to do the Facebook verification on my phone every time. So that if you're looking for an easier way to log in to do it as well, that's one cheat code that I discovered.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Jim, thank you for the 6. BD Housen at Circle 6 Summer Slime next Friday night at Wicked West. That is a paid ad in the form of a super chat, Jim. Dude, thank you for the 6. I know Jim will be there. Jim's the man. That'll be fun. Circle 6 Summer Slime. I've tweeted links and stuff, but I'll keep tweeting it all week. I hope to see everybody out there. I got to get in shape. I have 1 week to get in better shape before I'm shirtless in front of Comic-Con. Dear God. Jenna, any last words for today's show?
Also, shout out to the audio listeners who probably thought that was Jim Viscardi and are very confused.
Jim Velasco.
It's Jenna Lynn on social media. As always, go read some comics, go read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and go subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is at Go Read Some Comics. I have a video breaking down the poster that I will be posting later today. And just, more Superman stuff. I will never stop talking about this movie.
Aaron?
It's at Summer Lake Corner at How to Watch Free TV. Thank you for people who have been signing up. That's been great to see. If you're not tired of hearing us talk about Superman or me talk about Superman specifically, over at New Rock Stars of the Break Room, we did a thing about Superman. We talked about Jurassic. You should go watch Brandon and a bunch of fun people talk about Superman from earlier this week. Also, if you want, here's a free one. So you can come on to the newsletter over at howtowatchfree.tv. All-Star Superman is free on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Like you can just go watch All-Star Superman. If you want to see what inspired the movie, go do that.
That's the sort of nugget that How to Watch Free TV gives out. Right there. You just saw it. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging. FaceHero.com has our super and fantastic summer merch available for a limited time. If you order some of it now, it might arrive to you in time to have such a fantastic time at the movies. It's kind of gonna cut it close though. It might be too late, but it's worth a shot. Thank you guys so much for hanging. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all the kind comments and positivity and how welcoming you all are every Wednesday. We will be back next week. We'll figure out the schedule because we're traveling to San Diego. Obviously, we're hopping around and doing things, but we'll figure out how and when and where we're going to record next week's episode and keep you updated on that. If you're in San Diego, go to the panel with my 3 friends here. Come to my panel. It's not my panel. It's a panel I'm moderating. And come out to the SummerSlam event with Circle 6 to come watch me wrestle. And I will be tweeting links to that too. Play our show for your dad, play it for your cat. Have a wonderful weekend seeing Superman again. And we'll see you next week, everybody. Shout out to the hotel Wi-Fi.